Hardware is a 1990 released sci-fi horror thriller.
Yeah.
Directed by Richard Stanley.
It stars Dylan McDermott as Mo, a sort of ex-marine, sort of space marine thing bloke, who now just wanders around picking up junk from around a post-apocalyptic wasteland, basically. Yeah, we're never really told what's happened, but we can only assume some sort of war has left large sections of the world as wastelands, basically. So he comes back to the city. Again, we don't know what city, just a generic city, and he's at a sort of a junk dealer, shall we say, and a nomad comes in who we've seen at the start of the film has found some parts of a robot. He buys them from him because his girlfriend makes sculptures out of junk. So he takes it back to her place. She lives in a sort of fortified block of apartments, gives it to her, and while he's out, it rebuilds itself and attempts to go on a murderous rampage.
It does.
In her apartment, which she then can't, because it can link into all the systems and everything in the apartment, she can't get out. So yeah, while it is post-apocalyptic, society hasn't completely crumbled. There is still a government in place. We see sort of TV clips, and they talk about things where there is sort of society is still going on. It's just not particularly pleasant for anyone. So yeah, that's basically it. It's the main bulk of the film is her trying to survive this robot attack.
Yes, this robot on a warpath.
Yes, with a large spinning appendage, shall we say, between its legs.
Yes. It's great fun, though.
It is, yeah.
It's completely... I mean, it's quite nutty, the film. I think it was... so Richard Stanley wrote... he borrowed, was it, from 2000?
Yeah, a strip called Shok, with a K. Well, obviously Shok is spelled with a K, without a C,
without
rather.
A C, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
In 2000 AD. I've never read the original.
No, I mean, I say he borrowed. I think I think he got into a little bit of trouble because he didn't mention that he borrowed from that strip. But I mean, it's also, it's Terminator, isn't it?
It is a bit Terminator-ish, a bit Mad Max-ish.
Yeah, typical post-apocalyptic kind of film setting and all that. But it has an interesting take on it because it's obviously directed by Richard Stanley, who, I mean, up until he did Dust Devil, and I think he has a really interesting. I think visually he's really interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I've always enjoyed this film, specifically for other reasons. I mean, I was a big fan of the band Ministry, and there's a song by Ministry in there, Stigmata, which is a great track. Lemmy turns up in it.
He does, yeah. He's a taxi driver, yeah.
He plays, taxi driver.
He puts on his own music. I'll check these guys out.
Yeah, as you
okay, Lemmy.
Exactly, yeah. Iggy Pop's the radio DJ in there. Yeah. It's got my favourite song of all time in the soundtrack, which is The Order of Death by Public Image, that plays during the love scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the most amazing, it's not really a song, kind of piece of music, but I love that tune. From that point of view, it's got everything I would want in a movie, but it's also, it's got some really great ideas in there. I think Richard Stanley, I mean, it's not the best script in the world, and some of the pacing is a little bit off at times, but it's still a lot of fun, and it's clearly had no budget. It was like $1.5 million on it.
Yeah.
So it's very nuts and bolts filmmaking.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of the sort of post-apocalyptic wastelands. I mean, when we do, it's just desert, and then when we're in the city, there's not sort of any big wide shots of the cityscape or anything. I mean, I think there's probably matte paintings, I would imagine.
Yeah,
for the cityscape, and that's it.
I always liked that kind of opening shot. I think that's extremely atmospheric. It's a kind of red type desert, and then you get that nomad that walks across the land, who is basically Richard Stanley. If you look at Richard Stanley, he is that guy.
Yeah, it's a nice
and he wears
hat.
The Stetson hat and the long jackets. I mean, the actual nomad in the film is Carl McCoy, and he was the vocalist from Fields of Nephilim, who were like a gothic rock band from the kind of 80s, 90s. But no, if you look at interviews with Richard Stanley, he is that guy.
Yeah.
And that kind of look turned up in Dust Devil, and I think some of his music, because he was a music video director originally, and you can
shows
definitely
in
tell.
hardware,
You can tell that in this film. I mean, there's lots of. I think video plays a big part in this film. Well, there's the what you see when you're looking through the eyes of the robot. You know, all those kind of little bit Terminator-esque. Then you've also got this quite revolting pervert at one point who's spying on Jill, and you see through his telescope, and you kind of get these kind of strange images. But then Jill, when she's working on her art, she'll switch on the TV, and you get loads of imagery, music videos, commercials playing. There's an odd moment actually when Ministry, with the song "Stigmata" by Ministry, is playing, but it's actually gore that's on the TV.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah,
which is a bit odd. But loads of videos taking place, and actually it's quite interesting. If you look at the end credits, he used a lot of stock footage from Psychic Television. Do you know Psychic Television?
No.
Psychic Television were an 80s, kind of music band, but they did a lot with video.
Right.
They were like one of the first groups that put video up behind them when they played live, and that was the big thing that they used. They were members of, they used to be Throbbing Gristle and Coil, the band Coil. So they really experimented with visuals and video, and some of that stock footage I think was used in hardware.
Right.
So there we go. There's lots of that kind of crazy subversive imagery going on. There's also there's obviously nods to America, with the stars and stripes painted on the machine's head, and then others like quite a lot of spiritual imagery. I mean, it's a bit of a trip, this film, right down to the fact that the character Shades. So there's this character Shades in there who's a friend of Moe's, hence wears shades.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why he's called Shades.
Yep.
And then at one moment he goes on this. He takes LSD. And then goes on this crazy trip, and then you see like spiritual imagery coming out of the screen and stuff. So the whole film is very trippy. It's like a trippy Terminator.
Yeah, it is,
actually, isn't it? Kind of, but it's great fun.
Yeah,
I really enjoy it, and I recommend if you don't know it. I mean, it's cult.
Definitely,
we're in cult territory here.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of fans of it out there. I mean, I saw it years and years ago for the first time. I think I had a ex-rental VHS, and I remember it was definitely billed as like a Terminator style film, and it is, but not in the same way. I wasn't that impressed with it when I first watched it, but watching it again recently, I really enjoyed it this time. So,
right. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a blatant Terminator. It's very different to Terminator. I mean, obviously, there are loads of other films that are like Terminator, and like I said, there's bits of Mad Max in there as well, and all those kind of great sci-fi films that came out of the 80s. But yeah, I definitely would recommend giving it a go this one. If you haven't seen it and you like, kind of sci-fi, crazy, weird stuff, then yeah, give this one a go, definitely, because you can see it, can't you? You can.
Yeah.
I've got this one.
Got the DVD.
I got the DVD, which is just it's the British DVD that came out whenever it came out, a few years ago. It's got a few it's got a few extras on there. A couple of documentaries, because Richard Stanley did quite a lot of documentaries and short films. And, as I said, music videos. He hasn't done a lot of feature films. He did this one, and then Dust Devil, and he attempted to make The Island of Dr. Moreau.
He did, yeah.
Which if you know that, there's a documentary about the filming of that before he was kicked off. I haven't seen the film that they made in the end, but I've seen that documentary, which is great fun. But yeah, I've got this one. I've got a German version of it as well, and I had it on video a long time ago. But there is
there's a new Blu-ray apparently coming out in the US from a label called Ronin Flicks. Apparently it's getting a new 4K restoration. I don't know. It was supposed to come out in June, but we're sort of most of the way through June now, and it's not. There's no sign of it. And
also when I tried clicking on it, and it didn't seem to allow people outside of America any access to it.
So whether it's even going to be available outside of their website, it doesn't look like it. So
who knows?
If you're not in the US, you're probably stuffed, to be honest.
Yeah, but there was a Blu-ray. There was a 20. Was it 25?
In the UK, there's a 25th anniversary one, but it doesn't have any extras on it. So if I'm going to try and get it on Blu-ray, I'm going to get basically the version of that one, the Optimum one. I mean, if you can find it, the DVD when it was first out came with the comic book reprinted, the story that it was based on. So, but how easy that is to find, probably not very easy. So I'm just going to try and get the Blu-ray that does have some features on it. The picture's not too bad apparently on the Blu-ray. Obviously, it's not a 4K restoration, but it's passable, I think. So that's the one to go for, unless you can get this one in the US, then maybe that would be the one to go for.
So that was Hardware, and we hope you enjoyed this video, or the film as well. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of it, whether you liked it or you didn't like it, or if you go away and check it out, or if if you pick up that 4K Blu-ray, if it ever comes out, we'd love to know what that's like, because we probably won't be ever able to get it. So that would be cool.
And check us out on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, do that.
And then watch some of our other videos. Links coming up right now.
And subscribe.
And that as well.
Do that too. And we'll be back next time for another video.